Rivalry.
Welcome to the
Shmooze! And chores Tov. This is just an amazing month. It's like the month of trees and rebirth and everything.
Yeah.
So have a great month, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about Who's the Boss and
the Nanny.
How great were those shows?
Yeah. So I just got to know the Nanny just a couple weeks ago. I accidentally on YouTube, it just jumped after I watched something else.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. Nanny fine. And I'm fine from home. And she's Jewish.
Right.
She's fine. I mean, I didn't know, like, fine is not usually a Jewish name.
Okay.
You know?
And
I definitely related. And Who's the Boss? You know, I grew up watching, of course.
Right. That can be. I saw on YouTube that you did like a few stories. I'm fine. Maybe that can be your your motto. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we grew up watching Who's the Boss, and Who's the Boss was such a it was such a different type of show because all of a sudden you have this tough macho guy. And he's cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
And it was like such a switch from such a stereotypical housekeeper.
Yeah.
I love the show. It was one of those shows that we just watched. And I think it was on Monday night.
Yeah.
Do you remember the theme song to it?
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Not just up to you, my friend. I think we learned a lot about sibling rivalry from that show, because Samantha was this cool, tough, popular kid, and Jonathan was a Chnevitz
geek.
Yeah, he was.
It's very sweet, it's very
right. Yeah, he was
soft spot.
Right, but he was like the rich kid and Samantha was like the poor kid, even though he was like this nerd and unpopular, and she was the oldest, yet he was so it was like that infringement on boundaries,
and they're not really siblings.
Right?
It's a concept also of TV showing us other kinds of families, or I don't know if they even call themselves a family,
right? Right.
But they did have this relationship,
right,
of siblings, of sharing their life and also watching each other and their differences.
Right. How do you think? Okay, so there was that sibling rivalry going on there, and you have 5 siblings and I have 3. Tell me about an instance where you were in conflict with your siblings.
All the time.
Or you felt
so much. I mean, my mom said that since my brother was a baby, I used to beat up on him.
My youngest?
No, the closest to me. We're a year and 3 months apart.
Okay.
Me and Johnny, and things are really rough between us. And I remember one instance. It was I think I might have been already in high school or maybe just before high school.
Okay.
And we were fighting. I don't remember about what. And the thing was that I used to scratch. And he used to punch.
Reason she grow nails.
And he used to punch.
Oh my God.
So the punches don't show, but the scratches do.
So you always got in trouble.
I always got in trouble. And once I was just so frustrated, so I took this cassette that he was very attached to and I broke it into half. And also with all my siblings, it was... I felt like in some place I had to be a disciplinary to them, and so I hit them a lot. My youngest sibling always got away from his chores,
right?
And whenever I caught on to him trying to sneak out of the kitchen instead of doing the dishes, I would grab him and twist his arm and no way, you're gonna do it. I was pretty tough. But I think, life has a tendency to play tricks with you. So then, like, when my father was dying, so we all sort of got together and we were like our own support group. And eventually we became really good friends. I don't think any of my siblings are still upset with me for what I did to them when I was young. And we also do a lot of fun stuff together. I mean, those are the tough stuff. But like, we would put on plays, we would study songs by heart and sing them.
Beautiful.
So we had a lot of fun stuff also going around.
I love that. I'm gonna share.
How about you?
I'm gonna share. So I used to beat up also. I used to beat up my brother. My sister I never beat up.
You're the eldest.
I'm the eldest
right?
also. My two brothers, so it's me, my two brothers, and my sister. And my sister I never beat up because I wanted a sister for so long. When I'm gonna beat her up. So there was one time, and I would tell everybody what to do. Like, this is like the thing of oldest children. I think they're bossy by nature.
Yeah.
So one time, I wanted to watch a soap opera. We must have been like 8, 9, right? Garbage television, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to watch a soap opera. It was time. It was like 2:00, and my brother. Do you remember Atari?
Yeah.
Those games, Atari. Yeah. So we got this Atari game, and it was like, but we had only 2. So you could only play, and you had to unhook the television, and then play right. So it was 2:00. I wanted to watch my soap opera, and my brother's playing his stupid Atari, and I said, turn it off and hook up the television. He's like, no, I'm in the middle of the game, blah, 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 blah. And we started fighting, and we pushed the television. Somehow we pushed the television off the table, and it broke. Now, my father got so angry. He said, no more television, we're only going to have black and white. And it was so traumatic. It was really, like, traumatic because, like, you feel poor. Because, oh my God, I'm watching black and white television. And he said, no cable either. And it was like, oh my God. And I just remember feeling that my brother was so stupid. He could have prevented this entire thing had he just done the stupid hookup for the television and let me watch, who's having an affair and who's killing who. And it was just so frustrating. So I did. I used to beat him up until he got stronger than me. And then I stopped. Today, he's Haredi, living in Ramat Beit Shemesh. Very straight and narrow. Do not look left to the right. And we're very different ideologically, obviously. But I think that we have a great relationship. I talk to him every Friday. And he's preparing Shabbos his way, and I'm preparing Shabbos my way. I'm screaming at my kids to get in the shower, out of the shower, wash the dishes, and whatever. And he's screaming at his kids to do the same. I don't necessarily agree with that ideology of life, but I admire and respect him for living according to his values.
That's amazing.
I can say that when I'm almost 50. Yes, when I was. When I was like 11, it was like, get out of my face.
Right.
But I think it's beautiful when siblings have a beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
And obviously it was fake and staged, but they grew up on that show.
Yeah.
Samantha and Jonathan, they did. They grew up.
Right.
And I'm wondering if they have like a good relationship, today still. Mm-hmm. That would be an interesting question to ask them.
Yeah, there's a theory that siblings that fight between themselves a lot as kids, they grow closer as adults.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's, in Hebrew they say krav.
Okay.
Mishonit karev.
I like it.
The letters for fight is coming closer in Hebrew.
So, I love that. That's beautiful.
I don't know. By us it is kind of true. Yeah.
I think also by us.
Yeah. And I think, growing up together and just being in the same household, you'll step on each other's toes, either your spouses or your kids or the kids on each other. And yeah, different times. You don't do it all the time the same person, but yeah. And that's the way, actually, you know, you also make a connection, because you know what really upset somebody else. And at a certain point, you say, okay, this is really upsetting. I don't want to behave like this.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit also about a man doing chores in the house.
Okay.
That was something relatively new back then.
Right, it was.
And I was very lucky to marry Boaz, because he's a guy who does chores at the house, in the house. Love. I grew up hating chores because it was like slavery. That's what it felt to me. I didn't feel I was picking a part. I was a partner in the household. I felt I was like Cinderella. So once I got married and Boaz took upon himself like certain chores, it really helped me.
Right.
I think today, like, I still don't love doing chores, but today, you know, I'm better with it because it's not that traumatic.
Right, because it's not all on you.
Yeah.
I tell my 10-year-old son, I said, you have to wash dishes. He says, why? I have everybody else can. I said, listen to me very carefully. You have to wash dishes so that your wife loves me. And he says, like, what? I said, she's going to love. Me, she has to love because she educated you to be a normal, contributing human being.
Right.
Tov. And then he can say it off by heart. I know, you don't have to tell me. But he's not a happy, willing participant in doing dishes.
But it's interesting, you know, my son who's in the army now.
Okay.
He says that a lot of times when he's very challenged, he thinks about his future wife. And he says, what kind of a man I want to be to her.
Oh, love it.
And that really like gives him strength to go through all the mental havoc that he's going through. Anybody know a girl for this beautiful, beautiful soul?
And he's good looking too, and a surfer. How old is he? 18, 19, 20? 21. Okay. Yeah, right now. Oh my God, I remember when he was born.
Yeah, next week is his birthday.
I remember when he was born. So, any girls that out there?
Still got time.
Who did you love the best on his last?
Of course, Tony.
Really?
But I liked also the grandma.
Oh, Mona. I loved her.
Yeah.
She was just awesome.
She's like a fiery grandma.
Yeah.
And
Gingy.
I love to see that. It's like, you know, it's something to look forward to. It's like when I grow up, I want to be Mona.
Yes.
I want to have fun.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
She never hesitates about anything. She has an opinion on everything. But also very sweet and tender and warm.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people who like you would imagine that somebody is like so self-centered a little bit, enjoying life and all that, would like forget about other people completely and be like totally selfish. But she's not. She's not. She's very warm. She's very caring.
I loved her.
And she's sort of like a matchmaker also.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character?
Mona.
Definitely.
Totally Mona.
I love also Tony. I love Tony because this like kind of roughness around the edges.
Yeah.
I like the like innocence of simple people.
Yes.
And I think it's something, especially today, that we're seeking. We don't have enough of, because everything is like, even like on social media and stuff like that. So people put on filters and you don't know who's like the real person. And here's like a real down to earth person, you know, or personality, because he's an actor. But But I love that innocence.
Yeah,
I think we
that's
need more of
beautiful.
that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's such a beautiful thing to say. And you're right. Like, you're right. Every 2-year-old knows how to push and press and swipe. And
yeah.
You're right. We're getting away from our true selves.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, there's like this image that we have to uphold.
Definitely. I mean, I'm all for it generally. Yeah, like in my professional life, like Mabsuta is an image. You know, I dress colorfully. I try to put on makeup every day, but sometimes I don't feel like it. So what? So like, is it a lie that I dress colorfully, or is it a lie that I'm without? You know,
Interesting.
What's the true self? But the true self is this and that together. Right. It's also a decision that I want to portray happiness. I want to inspire people to happiness. I want people to look at me and say, "Oh, you're so colorful. It gives me a lift to my day," you know? Right. So that's like something intentional.
You're talking about like duality.
Yeah.
Like the black and the white, the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
That there's
but we all have also the downsides. We all have the sides where we're in pain, emotional pain. We're also, we're not feeling like I feel like smiling today. So sometimes I will make myself smile intentionally, and sometimes I will just say, okay, I'm staying in bed today. It's just one of those days or hours or whatever, and I'll give time to this feeling, and then I can move on.
I did that. This is a great tip. Yael had such a great tip. She said, give a time limit for your sadness. So I did this like embroidery thing, and until it was done, and then I paid for it, and I framed it, and I gave it to my husband to hang up, and he hangs it, and it breaks. And it's like one of those things that you watch in slow motion. And I'm following it, and I'm like, and it was so sad. It was so heartbreaking. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to try Yael's tip. I'm going to be sad and upset and whatever for 15 minutes. And I'm like, 15 minutes, and that's it. And so I'm like with my clock, I'm looking at and I'm like, okay, is it 15 minutes yet? Is it 15 minutes yet? All right, I'm done. All right. I am going to be sad for 15 minutes. I'm going to be like mivoeset. How do you say mivoeset? Sad.
Bummed.
Oh, good word.
Yeah.
I'm going to be bummed. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be like super angry at my husband, and I'm giving it 15 minutes. And I'm looking at the clock. It's like a watched pot. You're waiting for the pot to boil. It never boils. And I'm like, how flipping long is 15 minutes? Yalla, I don't want to be angry sad anymore. I'm tired of watching the clock. I'm done. It was such a great tip. And it was like, oh, okay. And then I said to my husband, I'm like, you didn't do it on purpose. It wasn't your fault. And I was able to move on. So he said, okay, so I'll hang, there's 3 of them. So he's like, I'll hang 2 of them. I'm like, no, there's a limit. We're not hanging anything until all 3 of them come back. And he did. He took care of it, and it's all nicely hung and everything. But I was just like, okay, I'm giving it a time limit. It was such an awesome tip. So take that tip. It was such an awesome tip. I've been meaning to tell you.
Let's talk a little bit about the Nanny.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Mr.
Sheffield! Very extreme Jewish.
Oh, yes. Very like Queens. She was from Queens, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Sheffield!
Flushing Queens.
Oh.
And her mom.
I don't remember her mom. Tell me about her mom.
Sylvia. She's also like this very Jewish mom, always shoving food in your face.
And they were like a typical, sorry for the stereotype, but like a typical, like non-white family. Like a typical white family. And she wasn't even into being a nanny, right?
No, she was
selling makeup or something, door to door or something.
Yeah.
Funny. And they got married eventually.
Yeah.
So there was like those 2 shows. You have this like tension going on between like You know, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
Yeah,
Are we
it's a
gonna
little
do
bit
it?
like in When Harry Met Sally, that Harry says, a boy and a girl cannot be friends without being romantically involved.
I think there's truth to that.
Something like that.
I think there's truth to that. I think that the beauty of Judaism is that it sets boundaries and like, you know, fences. Like, you don't be alone with another woman. Don't talk to another woman too much. And it sets boundaries so you don't get yourself into those problematic places.
Yeah.
You know, like a single man and a single woman living together. There's bound to be like...
the sexual tension.
Yeah.
It's there. It's always there. Yeah. And that, I think, is also what makes the show very funny.
Okay.
This tension that's always going on. And also, you know, the different backgrounds, the different ideas.
On both shows.
On both shows,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think I would love a job where there's a butler.
Oh, yes.
And you are just the nanny. I did it actually for
did
a while.
Yeah. When you were in America?
When I was in New York. Yeah. Relatives of mine,
okay.
They had me over and I was living in their house in the beginning. And I you know, they gave me a job in their company. They were a secretarial job.
Ooh.
And I hated
I
every
couldn't
moment.
imagine.
I just
yeah.
couldn't. And then after a while they said, okay, be a nanny to our 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun.
Yay.
I had a great time with her. And that was it. That was the only responsibility.
Nice.
Just to make the kid happy.
Oh,
take her out on walks.
Beautiful.
Read her
Beautiful.
Stories. Play.
Love it.
You know?
Love it. Would you want a nanny or like a housekeeper? A housekeeper is different than a nanny.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so
I don't think so.
A housekeeper or a nanny?
Not
like,
a nanny. Not
okay.
a nanny. Somebody to do all the chores around the house instead of all of us, definitely. Definitely. I would love that. You know, somebody...
like a Tony. You would
like
want Tony as opposed to a...
Yeah, definitely.
Fine.
Definitely. I mean, I love cooking.
Right.
But I would like a sous chef.
Somebody to clean up, somebody to cut, somebody to prepare, somebody to wash the dishes.
Yes,
I get it. You know what I want?
No.
I want, and everybody laughs at me, but this is like, honestly, this is when I have money, this is the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to hire, you know how like you have an office administrator?
Yeah.
Right? So she's in charge of everything that goes on in the office.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to hire a house administrator. She doesn't have to clean. She just has to find the person to clean.
Mm.
Yeah, she doesn't have to do the laundry. She has to find somebody to do it. Right? If we need to have the house painted or a repair, she's going to have a house credit card and just find the person.
Yeah.
You know, we need
I actually saw an advertisement for a company, and they advertise membership. It's called Schlumbite membership. The Happy Home membership.
Love it.
And for a nice fee that you pay monthly.
Okay.
They take care of all the issues of the house.
Love.
I mean, like the maintenance. The house maintenance.
Love it.
So if your faucet's leaky,
yes.
If your anything that's not working in the house, then make sure it works.
Yes, and they're gonna in my imagination they're gonna live like they're gonna have their own house. It'll be like a couple.
And there are a lot of people who live like that in the States. I mean, I saw. I went to visit last year. Another nanny for the same family.
Okay.
She was like nanny / housekeeper, and she made it her professional life to be a housekeeper.
Wow.
And so we went to visit her in her estate.
Oh my God.
And like, it's amazing.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. She has her own, like, rooms there. It's a huge, huge estate. And there are another couple who live on the property, and they have, like, their own hut. And they're also in charge of...
They have the estate and they have the hut.
The pool and
God.
everything. Oh, amazing.
My. But I wouldn't want somebody to take care of my kids.
Right.
Like, I think that's... Maybe it's like my control issues, which I'm working on, like surrendering and whatever. But I really don't like the concept of other people taking care of my kids.
Even school? Or no?
Since Corona... What are you doing? You're just babysitting my children. You're not giving them any life skills.
Yeah.
Do they get taught how to do Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Google? Nothing.
Manage a bank account.
Conflict management, communication. Are they taught any of these skills? No. Right. So what are you doing in school? You're blah blah blahing about the capital of Peru. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? I teach. It's like school is becoming very outdated.
Right.
So you're trying, and really they are trying, with all these nice little projects that parents end up doing. But I think it's just becoming outdated. Teach your kids, like, how to, like, right now I'm at a point in my business where I am debating whether I want to take a loan or not. Because I know I have to. I need the money. I need the startup capital to get going. So if I don't, it, like, leaves me in this loop. The other side of the coin is if I take a loan, I sometime have to pay it back. So it's very easy to say, okay, I'm going to take the loan but then is there somebody available to teach me these skills, what type of loan to take, what conditions? I don't know. Right. Why aren't you teaching children this? Open a business, how to open a business, how to be an independent, thinking, responsible human being that has to interact with people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And more and more, I think the world is evolving towards people's independence, towards jobs that don't require you to work from 9 to 5 and not use your faculties at all. And even my other son, he said to me, I don't want to be anybody's slave. You're all slaves working in your jobs. And I think there's merit to that.
There is merit to that.
Yeah, because I think this is the generation, and what they need is to be taught how to be your own business person. Yeah. And how to do stuff with ideas, because there are people out there making money in ways that we never imagined them. And school and high school and college have nothing to do with that. People who travel and they take pictures of themselves traveling, and then people sponsor them to travel more, and And they have a YouTube channel. It's just people passively watching them, and they get paid for just, so it's not even an effort.
Right.
And more the world's going towards that, because really Adam was cursed. It's an ancient curse that you should really... How do you say? That you
have to work hard
by the sweat of your
brow.
Yeah, you have to work hard. But today we're being released of this curse.
Right.
That's what I feel.
I feel it too. That we're heading towards like a total salvation.
Also, Eve's curse that childbirth to be so hard is also evolving, and more women are learning how to have an awesome experience at childbirth.
Right,
either C-section or other ways.
I think we totally got off topic as usual again.
Yeah.
I'm done. So I think we're coming to the end of the Shmooze today.
Okay.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
If you have any ideas about how we can get household help, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed the Shmooze. And we'll see you next week on
The Shmooze.